folks, slash chords are an essential part of the fingerstyle guitar sound.
If you go in a snowflake storm.
Especially for the folk revival stuff, but also the stuff that came before and after. But my question for you is this: do you really know how to use them and why? And more importantly, do you really know how to say it? Is it C over G or is it G over C? So today we're going to talk about just that, using a few of Dylan's classic tunes to take your playing from this and hopefully get you closer to something more like this. What's up? My name is Kyle Orla. I teach fingerstyle through context here on YouTube and do a community over on Patreon, and I'm so stoked to get into slash chords today. And how is this blue flannel? Did you know you can get them in blue? Anyway, I'm a little colorblind, so blue's good. Now, what are slash chords and how to use them? Now, if you ever see a chord like C/G, it doesn't mean you play C or G, and you can pick either one. It also doesn't mean you play C and G somehow. I don't even know if I could C and G and play them at the same time. I don't know. It's not possible really on guitar. Piano players do that. It's called a polychord. It would be written more like C on top of G. The slash chord, it's traditionally in the most musically apt way of thinking about slash chords, it's used to indicate an inversion. So if you think about, you have a C triad, let's do like down here in the bass, that would be C in its root position. And then its next inversion would be taking the next note in the triad and making it now the lowest note. That would be written as C/G. It's a C chord with E in the bass. And then the other inversion would be the second inversion, which would be written as C/G. It's a C with the G as the lowest note. This replaces kind of the more classical theorized way of writing this as a figured bass, where the first inversion is a 6, and the second one is a 6/4. I don't actually even know enough about that to explain why it is. I know with seventh chords, it's something different. So anyway, we don't really have to worry about that as a fingerstyle guitar player at all. And generally, we just think about it as bass motion. Now, in the case of C over G, you've got C with G in the bass. That's called C over G or C/G. You got to be careful not to say G over C. You'll do it. I've done it. I've done it in videos. Because what that means is a G chord with C as the lowest note. A lovely sound, very different than this. Now, it gets a little bit confusing because if we had an A minor 7 chord and then we put a G in the bass, well, that's the exact same chord. That's the exact same chord as C with G in the bass. A minor 7, and then A minor 7 with G in the bass. How do you know the difference? And that's why with every other video I do here, it's really important to realize that context is everything. That's the very reason why there, and there all sound the same. They all sound alike, but they're spelled completely different. It's the same for music. You have to have context. You have to have the greater picture to know how to spell out each chord. So let's check out a few different Dylan tunes using three essential ways of using slash chords to understand how to use this stuff for your own playing and how to hear this stuff when you're listening to Dylan. And a few of these may be on your hands already. You just didn't know they were slash chords. Alright, so the first type of slash chord we're going to talk about is what I kind of call convenience chords, right? They're just there because it's the convenient way to play the chord under your hand. So the one Dylan uses a lot and a lot of folk singers use is some kind of D chord with an F sharp in the bass. Technically, that is a D over F sharp. Now, you could do this D major, you could do this D7. And the reason you play it that way most often is just because it's the convenient way to play all 6 strings. So if you have any basic fingerstyle pattern going, and you put your thumb there, I don't have to think too hard, right? I can just kind of keep my D chord in the same orientation as like my G chord. Took my thumb away, it completely messes up the chord quality altogether, right? So I have to put my thumb there if I want to use all 6 strings, if I want to keep my fingerstyle right hand pattern consistent. And we talk a lot about this in my analysis of Girl from the North Country, and you should check that video out if you haven't already, but it's that exact thing here. We've got this beautiful E minor chord moving to a D7 with F sharp in the bass. Now it sounds lovely because you have an ascending bass bringing you to G, but it also is just simple. It just is easy. You can use all 6 strings if you wanted to, and your thumb pattern doesn't change. Check it out. Again, I put this type of slash chord in the convenience chord camp just because it's convenient for both hands, right? My thumb's there ready to play F sharp if you play with your thumb hanging over, and my right hand pattern, it doesn't have to change either. Now, some chords are convenient for an entirely different reason. It makes convenient harmony happen. So this type of slash chord makes use of the drone or pedaling. So this chord C over G that I showed you in the beginning, it will reveal itself to you over and over again given enough context as you dig deeper and deeper into the fingerstyle canon. Probably one of the most important tunes to talk about when you talk about this chord C over G is actually by Elizabeth Cotten in her tune Freight Train. Now most people play Freight Train like this. But if you listen to her version, she plays it like this. Now I bring this up because this is just a really important chord grip to get into your hands and into your ears, because when I was listening to her play it, like why does her version sound so open and it just has a little more complexity to it, even though I think I'm playing the same thing, right? That's when I discovered she's playing a C over G. That G pedals between both chords, right? It's like a background drone that connects the C chord to the G chord. Now, I don't think she was thinking that way, right? Of course. I don't know why she did it. But if you dig deeper and deeper into the fingerstyle canon, the repertoire, this chord will reveal itself to you over and over again by tons of players. We will sidestep from that for now to talk about how Dylan used it, right? And Dylan used it in a beautiful way, and his peers, kind of as like a cadence. He'd play a G chord, and then he would pedal that G into a C over G, which again has that same kind of open sound, like how Libba used it. You got a G and a C over G. Now sometimes I call this the folk singer's turnaround, because you often hear it kind of used to just kind of close a line, and that's exactly how he uses it in Girl from the North Country. By the way, this tab is available already over on the Patreon along with the slow playing along. You can buy it outright, you can become a member, you can also just join for free and be one of the first people to get videos like this every week. Again, this type of slash chord is used to create stability. It's very grounding, right? But the last kind of slashing is used for the exact opposite purpose. It's used for creating movement, right? If you just had one chord for like 4 measures, what do, right? You can add some slash chords, add some bass motion. So think about Bob Dylan's Time They Are Changing. Check this out. Now this is some quintessential Dylan stuff. Now it's really just a D chord. You know, your average campfire picker, they're just gonna play a D chord. You know, better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing. But to give it a little bit of extra motion and movement, you just add some bass stuff, bringing yourself down to G, right? Better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing. And it just really kind of brings it all together, right? It connects the D chord that's going on for like a really long time into the G chord. Now, given some of the limitations of the guitar, we're actually breaking a bunch of rules here, right? But the melody and just kind of the harmony of the song, the harmonic motion of the song is so clear that we actually get to break some rules and nobody even notices it, right? But I just kind of want to show you this because we're playing a D. Now we're playing a D with C in the bass. But to do that, I kind of got to let a finger go, right? I got to let this finger go so I can reach it. That's what he does. Now, to put B in the bass, B underneath a C chord, D chord, excuse me, I gotta let that finger go that was there, right? Now that's really like a G, isn't it? It's really just like a G with B in the bass. But think about the context, right? It's all about context. We're not like secretly going from like D, C, G over B, back to D over A, right? that wouldn't make sense in the greater context of the tune. It's really a D chord with a descending bass line. Given the limitations of the guitar, I have to let some fingers go without doing anything doing too much finger gymnastics. Also, this would be a good time to mention, I'll be putting together a free PDF of all of my favorite slash chords for fingerstyle guitar and a video for paid members of kind of progressions that use these slash chords. So check that out over on Patreon. Anyways, these are just a few of my favorite ways that Dylan would add slash chords into his playing. You know, whether it's through convenience, pedaling or droning, or creating movement and motion, right? These are all great ways to add dimension into your playing. What are some of your favorite ways of using slash chords? Because I only talked about 3, right? There's a ton of ways to do it. Also, if you want to add dimension into your cage system, you should watch this video here all about the cage chord system and utilizing different ways of pairing different cage systems. So check that out next, and we will see you there.